Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Georgie with Girl Friday Productions, and we're going to record yet another exciting Lunch and Learn, a bite-sized conversation about the self-publishing business. So today we have RT Stokes, and this is like a reunion. You guys don't know this. This is the first time I'm actually seeing you, RT.
Yes, yes, yes. After over a year. It's been over a year.
I know.
So, yeah,
Over a
we've
year.
had great energetic calls and just, we've become family over the phone.
Uh, it's
Yeah.
so true. It's so true. And so to see your face, it's kind of like if I saw you in person, if you're standing right in front of me, like you've just heard this voice for so long that you just can't even imagine meeting them. And then when you meet them, you're like, oh my
That's
gosh.
right.
It's so great to see you. It's so
So
great
good to
to
see
see you.
you. So
I
good to see
wish
you.
that I only wish it was in person. That's the only other thing that would make it better.
It will be soon. It will be soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
geez, I hope so. So RT is one of our authors, and his book is The Relentless Rise, Break Through the Surface to Reach Your Greatest Self. Now, this book came out August 26, 2019. How's it been going since August 26, 2019, RT?
It's been amazing. I think knowing that you're an author, knowing that it's published is a huge emotional roller coaster because there's all this emotion that goes into it, especially if there's a part of your story, your life that you're putting in there. And then you're going through everything, making sure that it's perfect. So prior to going into Girl Friday, the pressure's on me. Fortunately, when you meet Girl Friday, there's a team and there are other people who are trying to help you get over the goal line. So the experience of going into the book publishing and then actually having it in my hands to be able to look at it and then share it with other people, it's been amazing. And it's a great feeling that I know I'll be able to have forever. My book will be available for forever.
Yeah.
Even when I'm gone, my book will still be here. So it's very exciting.
I wanted to read you because I went to your Amazon page and I wanted to read you this great reader review that you got. Life transforming read. This book, which is more like a life operating manual, is something I will continue to return to as I seek to express my highest and best self in the world. Thank you, RT Stokes, for sharing your wisdom, experience, and insights. My life is better for it.
That's wonderful.
You really can't. That's like,
Wonderful.
put it in the bank. That's
There
just
you go.
put it in the bank. What's it like to hear stuff like that, RT?
Those are really changing. I mean, when you're thinking about the book and you're thinking about the words and you're thinking about the different purchases, I think the entire experience helped me understand that the book has the ability to change lives. And that's one of those things that's not measurable. You can see how many people have purchased the book, but how many people have actually been immersed in the book, literally diving in and allowed for all the different tools and tactics that are listed in there to really begin to transform their lives. So for me, it has been an incredible journey. And I didn't realize that there would be that much fruit falling from the tree that I started growing when I first started with Girl Friday.
Yeah. Well, the people that haven't discovered your book yet, why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Sure, sure. So I'm a former Navy submarine veteran or a current veteran. I used to work on Navy submarines. I had a life-threatening car accident, and from that car accident, I ended up having amnesia. Now, this is what's very rare about the story. That should have disqualified me from submarine service. But because I was in my car accident on leave between boot camp and home, when I arrived on base, that was the first time that I ever met RT Stokes. So as far as my personality and my memory, I was literally starting new. I don't think the Navy realized how new I was starting. After the car accident, my jaw was still broken. It was broken so bad when I got back to the Navy, they had to wire it shut for me. And I start this process of my life has been somewhat broken. How do I start piecing things together? And that journey starts when the submarine goes underneath the water. And the book is really about some of the brokenness that we all feel. And whether we go through an incident or whether we experience a life changing incident like we dealt with this past summer, where you have to look at your life to say, oh my God, how do I piece all of this together in the person that I am and still find a way to rise against all the pressure? Well, we're all submarines, and that's what the book tells us that we all are submerged in this societal ocean. And we all have something inside of us that wants to reach this greater surface of being. But we have to figure out how to navigate, how to rise, how to dive, how to deal with the energy, how to deal with propulsion, how to deal with all these aspects of being submerged so we can rise to our fullest. And the Relentless Rise tells that full story and provides those tips for people to rise to the best.
And did you kind of come up with this when you were in the submarine, or did you have to get out of it before you saw the perspective and what you learned from that experience?
Definitely out of it.
Oh,
Definitely out of it. It was which is very interesting that it would play a role, but it was workplace violence. It was the violence that we saw in Orlando. The Vegas shooting had a very large impact, which is we are a society that has more channels and visibility and communication than ever before with all the social media. But the fact of the matter is that we are so invested in profiles that we've lost sight of personalities. And we can't see all these dangers that are really lurking under the surface. And even though we might not be able to see it, I'm going to invest. I'm going to believe that there's something beneath the surface with Georgie. So I want to spend some time. How you doing today? You okay? How you feeling? What's going on? We could talk about it. We need to get a coffee. Really just spending time with people to understand beneath the surface, are they really doing well? Because if they are, what you're able to bring to the surface or what they're able to bring to the surface makes it a better place for all of us. So it was being off of the submarine, being in society that I realized now I'm in the big ocean. And then the submarine
oh,
is relatively quiet, right? There are not a lot of people, so it kind of shrunk the world for me.
yeah,
It's really not challenging being inside the submarine. But when you go in society and you look and you just see all these people and you realize that we all are dealing with things underneath the surface, whether it's our thoughts or emotions or physical states.
hmm,
Knowing how to navigate in that submerged environment is key.
yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's just so great to listen to you talk. It's like music. Your voice is like music to me.
I've
Um,
become a better talker through Girl Friday.
um, so why did you decide to indie publish? Did you try to go the traditional route, or did you just right away think, no, I'm going to go indie all the way?
Indie publisher, I wanted to hold my book's hand. I wanted to hold the message of my book and literally be able to walk it through.
Okay.
And indie just spoke to me. It spoke to me as far as what I was trying to do. I knew that there would be a more intimate relationship with the people who I would work with. I know
Yeah.
that they would identify me instead of the book. The book is important, don't get me wrong, but the book is a representation of me. And it's not that I need to be identified from a sake of ego, but it's important to me from a sake of service to be able to give and allow those words to be part of the gift that I'm able to consolidate and pull together and offer insights and reflections on for people to have their own insights and reflections to improve their own lives.
Mhm.
And just the indie, I mean, there was just no comparison to just be amongst these people who are gritty, right? The indie community is so creative and so gritty. And I wanted that, and it's exactly what I got.
Yeah. Well, you were unique in the way that you came to Girlfriend today. So I'll never forget. Yeah, we had heard from you through Smith Publicity, which is our PR partner that we work with all the time. And I remember hearing about the book, and it was like, oh, yeah, he came to us and he wants it out in like 3 months or something like that. And I was like, oh my
Right.
God, it was so fast.
Yeah.
So, how did that come about? So, you were going to go with Smith and
Mhm.
go that traditional PR route, not traditional publishing. They're a traditional PR agency. So you were going down that road. And what happened that made you kind of pause?
So I had some bad experiences online. When you're looking to publish, you wonder who you can go to. So I was doing a lot of research trying to find editors. And I think that that's probably one of the big stumbling blocks, roadblocks. It's a necessary checkpoint that every author needs to hit when you're dealing with an editor. And I had come across editors who just really weren't understanding, really weren't deep in the message. And
Mhm.
I wasn't getting the necessary feedback that, like, if you don't get it, just let me have it back and get it to someone who does get it and work through. Instead of you're trying to give me a 50% improvement on a message that you only understand 20% of. Like, let me work with somebody who really gets it.
Yeah.
Um, I felt like I was done. I was ready to cross the line. I wanted to have as much control over as possible because the Relentless Rise is dealing with the large analogy. And when I contacted Smiths, they said, hey, we can give you a couple options. If you just quickly want to get over the goal line and score and get your book out as quickly as possible, we could push it. But then there's this Girl Friday thing. I'm just, what do I do? And I knew it would be a phone call. So once I called, made contact, and met some of the people at Girl Friday, it was definitely a better decision than
Wow.
me trying to go it alone.
Yeah. That's amazing because, it's not cheap. Like there's
Right.
probably other,
Right.
companies. And like I
Yeah.
tell people, I try, not to push the whole Gold Friday thing, even though this, obviously I work there. But it's not the cheapest thing, but I do think it's an investment. And I think your book is gorgeous. We didn't do anything with your cover. It was already beautiful, right? And then we just
Thank
did the
you.
spine in the back or something like that, like Paul or
That's
our
right.
did
That's right.
that. Yeah.
Right.
So when you were publishing the book, what were your goals, and did you meet those goals after the book came out?
So publishing the book, my goals, first of all, I knew and Girl Friday had what I needed. I needed a couple of editorial tough talks.
Yeah.
The amazing miracle, again, about this whole Girl Friday thing is I had a developmental editor who was assigned by Girl Friday. And in my story, when I talk about that car accident, I went home on leave from boot camp to the sub base. I went home on leave and I get into this car accident, this life threatening car accident. And the developmental editor who I was assigned by Girl Friday was probably 5 minutes away from where that accident occurred.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
At the
it sends
same
chills. It
time?
sends chills with me saying it now. Now I have a tough time going back to that spot, going back to that location. It's emotional for me because it I still don't remember the car accident. I just remember I was driving in that area, almost like the Bermuda Triangle, and the lights go out and I wake up in the hospital. So I'm
Wow.
talking to the developmental editor, and he tells me, he says, "Yeah, I'm right here." That's where I'm like, "Oh my God! Like you're from my hometown. You're literally right there." Like, so it was great having that experience with him first and foremost. That was like one of the most amazing things. Obviously, having Sarah tell me, "Hey, it's okay. We're going to get you over the goal line." That helped as well. But we have to have an exchange, and this is one of the things that's critical, was important to me, and it was critical to Girl Friday. I think we both shared this. There's an exchange of understanding between an author and a reader. And that journey is a journey that we walk together. Girl Friday and author, we walk that together to give it to reader. It's challenging. And anybody's watching this video and they're an author, everything that we want to say, everything that's coming out of our hearts or minds, doesn't always cross that bridge to a reader's understanding. The developmental author did a great job helping me understand what got over the bridge, what he was able to understand, and what needed to be reworded in order to get over the bridge. Then there was that discussion as to, look, I'm gonna have to throw it over the bridge, but I can't change it because it captures my truth. Are you okay with it? And like those conversations, oh, that is worth the investment, because not only is it changing the words of the book, but it was changing the way that I articulated my experience and the reflection of my own life.
Hmm.
So as I began talking about the book after it was published, I was a much better speaker on what was inside the book than I would have been if I tried to do it my own.
From the developmental edit.
From the developmental edit itself, it had that much of an impact, understanding. I mean, they're more than just words. What are the words to use?
Yeah.
But where is this person right now emotionally as a reader? And what does that word trigger? So the challenge of a book, the beautiful harmony, sophisticated harmony of a book, is like a song that in this environment, this very short attention span world that we live in,
Yeah.
how do you orchestrate a harmony of words and meaning in such a way that people won't turn that song off, but they know if they close the pages of the book, I've got to get back to hear the rest of how this song ends. It's a harmony that they open up and they read and they ingest it into their minds, into their bodies, their spirits. But if it's a song where I'm just not feeling that groove, they'll close it. And I think it's that rhythm where you're building the orchestration, developmental editor, copyright editor, illustrator, artist, like all these pieces, the cover. So you have this beautiful, beautiful masterpiece at the end.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot. So, and of course you mentioned Sarah. So she was your project editor at the time.
Yes, yes.
How was
There's,
that? Yeah. Oh, miss her.
yeah.
She's not obviously on the call, but so how was that helpful? Was that a good relationship? I already know the answer to this question, but I just want
Yes, yes,
to
yeah.
explain it to people because it's like accountability, like the project editor or book development editor, we call it now. It's accountability. It kind of keeps you on track. It's a little book counselor because there's those moments when you're like,
Sure,
why am I doing this? Like it's
sure.
a lot.
It was everything. I mean, Sarah was, let me say this. First and foremost, Sarah was a friend because it's what's important to me, right? Um, Georgia, you're a friend and also family, as I said. But to have that, this is what I'm trying to do. I left my job to write this book. I
Mm,
told my family that I'm leaving work. I'm going to just focus on getting this message out because it's what I believe is the right thing to do. To have all that pressure, Sarah was just, okay, we're going to get the book. I mean, there wasn't any doubt as to how things were going to happen. I don't feel like there were any type of compromises. I don't feel like there was an area ever where I opened up my gift and it wasn't what I expected it to be. She gave warnings and heads up whenever we had any issues.
yeah.
But as far as the deadline and the quality, I mean, it landed. It landed. We didn't have to compromise the quality of the book in order to get the speed of the product out. But I think she also was able to slow me down.
Mm.
So if I could just imagine, okay, let me slow him down a bit. Let me speed up the editor. Artist, here's this, right? And she did that all the time while being so gracious to support me. So she was masterful,
Yeah.
masterful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's pleasant.
yeah,
I
yeah,
enjoy her myself.
yeah.
I want to talk for a second about your successes, at least from the outside looking at you. So I just want to say 21.5 thousand followers on Facebook. Are you kidding?
Yeah, yeah,
How did you
yeah,
do that? That's like some
yeah.
kind of wizardry.
That was Girl Friday in marketing. That was because remember we started talking about uh, the avatars and like how we would go after it. So
Yeah.
that again, to everybody, anybody listening, I think that would be very difficult for a person to do by themselves, which is why working with Girl Friday helped because we spent time talking about who the book is writing to.
Right.
And we came up with different caricatures, different avatars. And
Yeah.
that also helped not only from a marketing sense, but understanding where people are at different places emotionally through the book and are they being triggered. And it's almost like a control chart, if you will, where you're trying to control the amount of variance that people are feeling. So people feel differently, but within the book at this part, they're all kind of like, within this area. And after the book came out, what I heard was the echo of what people thought about the ideas, the concepts, whether they had read the book or not, just all the marketing was really about pushing the messaging.
Mhm.
And again, the echo, I'm going back to my submarine analogy, you have to send the sonar ping out and then you're waiting to hear it back. And when you hear that sonar back, it takes an acoustic shape to whatever it's touched. So the social media just exploded in a way that I didn't expect because it was just something I wasn't thinking of when I was writing the book. When I was writing the book, I was thinking about more of the message.
Yeah.
But to hear the meaning, the meaning of it touching people's lives. I just spent time just investing, trying to get that message out there and spread it. And it started, I think we started at zero. Maybe we had a few hundred right off the
I
bat.
feel
I
like,
wasn't posting at
yeah,
all.
I think you had like
Yeah,
100. I think you had like
yeah,
100. And then, but now
Yeah.
to have almost 22,000, I was like, what? But your
Yeah. It's
content is
amazing.
so good. And I know you work
Oh, my
really
goodness.
hard on that.
I'm
You,
honored. Honored.
you do that every day, don't you? It's a lot.
Well, here's another message to the writers. But Girl Friday, I overwrote the book before coming to Girl Friday. So I think the book was probably in the range of 130,000, 120,000 words.
Okay.
So I overwrote it because I had a lot going on. But what I realized is by cutting the book down a bit, I would be able to get out the initial copy of the Relentless Rise. I would almost have a large amount of information to create for a second book. I would have a lot of content to provide to people from coaching. And I had a wealth of social media posts with all that stuff. So all the things that a developmental editor or a copywriter editor is saying, like, I recommend you pulling this out. Not a problem at all. I'm going to plug that in next. That'll be a tweet. That'll be this. So just the overall process, if anybody goes to the editorial, if an editor cuts something out, make sure you save it because you can
Oh,
recycle it and use it. It becomes a great library for social media.
that is so great. And it's true. And I know you put out new content every day because I follow you. But I, I actually didn't know that you did that, RT, but I do tell people that like nothing is wasted. It's like leftovers.
Yeah,
Like you
yeah,
got the turkey, we're coming up on Thanksgiving, you can make a soup and make the tacos and like
yeah,
never throw any of your content away.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's really, really smart. So that's an important thing that you brought up. So you're not just an author or
Mhm.
veteran, is that you also do speaking, you do coaching and
Yeah.
all that. So did the book, do you think, has it opened new doors for that? Has it helped to generate any income, or where's that at?
Definitely. Well, one thing I just wanted to mention quickly about the post because
Mhm.
you were so instrumental in making this happen. But writing from the position of an avatar is what causes social media to explode. So if you gave me 4 avatars,
Mhm.
I'm the fifth. My magic number is always 5.
Okay.
But eventually, when you're posting, people either want to hear from you or people are looking for you to speak in their voice so they can share it with someone else.
Right.
So when we first got started experimenting with some things, I think our highest was 80%. 80% of people looking at that post were able to share it. So that was a great that was a great exercise. And I apologize in answering that question. I forgot the last one that you answered, so I
Oh my
apologize for
God, now I can't remember it either. See, this is what happens.
that.
This is what happens. You get the
Yeah,
glasses, you get older. This is the way it goes, RT. But
yeah.
that's
I
okay.
apologize for going off track with that one, but yeah,
No, but I
that
think you
yeah,
answered the question. Just like, and another thing that I tell people when they say, "Well, I have no idea what to post about," like authors, I always find this kind of
yeah,
interesting. I have no idea what to post about. And what we say in the marketing department is use your book as your content. So like take
yes,
chapter one and also kind of like, what did you have to pull out? What can you build upon? What were you thinking when you wrote this? So we always say
yeah.
stuff like that. So you just use your book as your content plan. But
Oh, I know exactly what you asked. You were asking about how things have opened up.
oh, well, there you go. Oh my
Yeah.
God, how could I forget about that one?
No, I'm sorry. Things have opened up a lot. As a matter of fact, is it last week? Yes, last week I have started entering into exclusive coaching contracts with companies now. So from a capacity standpoint, it's just really, really interesting to be dealing with companies to say, look, we're going to buy a coaching session, 2 coaching sessions for every employee in the company. We're going to buy 2 coaching, so certain things like that are happening, right?
Now, wait, are you going to include the book in that? You got to sell the book in bulk to these
I
companies.
got to sell the book. See, that's why I got to talk to you, George.
Yeah,
That's
let's just stop right now. Here's somebody.
right, right.
Yeah, that
Exactly,
company needs to buy like 500 copies of the book.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
hand them out.
That's right. That's
That's
right. So,
funny. That's so
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. But
And they found you through the book?
yes, yes. The book led to, well,
Love it.
the book almost allows us to have a way to exchange our ideas with the world and it validates them. People can look at the book or people can ask you. I'll tell people I could talk about the full book all night. You don't have to buy the book. I'll talk to you all about it. But it
No, you
provides
you have
much.
to buy the book. You have to
You
buy
do
the
have to buy the book. You do have to buy the book, everyone. But it provides so much strength in our conversation, our life, our worldly conversations with others. It's opened up several doors, several doors, not just for speaking, for coaching, for mentoring, for one-on-one. If I'm talking to someone, I always go back to the book. For the app, it opened up the app as well.
Right.
I use, I'm not sure if you've heard of like Trello or
Yeah.
Asana.
Oh
So a
yeah.
lot of times I'm able to take my book and just lay my book down on top of those technology tools as a template. So as we're coaching, put the chapters inside of Trello. Now we're going to go through, when you read the chapters, you put your comments in there. I'm going to put my comments in, and then we'll coach in this particular area. So the book, the framework of it just worked perfectly with some of the tools that are out there.
Oh my gosh, that's really smart. Yeah, let's talk about that app. So the Purpose Bound Playbook. So that
Mm.
came out, I remember, because it was right at the end of our relationship at Girl Friday. It was me helping with your book. That you're like, oh, did I tell you I'm launching this app? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
So how's that been going?
The app's been going really well. And what the app does is it takes you a step deeper into the overall analogy that we're submerged, that we're all submerged within this life, by giving you a base, a channel, and an open area for you to be able to create all these wonderful opportunities. And the base is the base of purpose, the base of self. And the channel is any type of area or challenge that you deal with in life that literally brings you to the surface. You're exposed in that channel and it's tight. You just have to be able to navigate. A lot of people get stuck in the channel. They get stuck in the area of their vision and unable to reach that open area of their mission. The app is just another tool, another piece of technology that allows the book to become real and provides another channel for people to purchase the book. So if they go through the app will provide you with a link. You can go onto that link and you can get the book. Also, inside of the app, what I did was I read from the book. And instead of publishing an audio book, I let people know that there are audio files in the app so you can listen to me reading parts of the book. There's nowhere else that you can get that. And if you buy the book, then you can get the whole audio experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff there. That's
Yeah,
some good stuff.
yeah. It's been fun.
So because we're coming up upon Veterans Day, I wanted to ask you about your experience being a part of the military or being a vet. How did that change your publishing perspective, if at all? Maybe it didn't.
Sure. I think being a veteran in my book in general just really focused on service. I'm sure you know from your personal experience as well, the uniform just doesn't come off. It's inside, as far as those of us who truly serve, because it's not a matter of the position that we're in, but it's the position that society is in. And when you swear to the depth that you're willing to make a sacrifice that involves your life, we just don't retire from that. We don't dishonorably discharge from that. Over this past summer, wherever people are in need, wherever people are in distress, whether or not we have the solution, we have to figure out how to provide a solution, how to serve and protect. And I'm at the age where I'm kind of past being able to knock on someone's door and actually serve in uniform. And I had that conversation with my wife. So the book became a point of service for me. It is my method of being able to serve others. And it's what helped eliminate the fear that I had of being an author. And it helped me eliminate the fear that I had of having a perfect book or whether or not that it was a bestseller. I think if a fire were to break out on a submarine or in someone's home, they wouldn't necessarily look for the best fire hose to apply to their fire, which one is most relevant and which one is going to be effective solving the issue that they're dealing with in their lives. And for me, I knew that putting out a book as this is my service and it can make a difference in someone's life. It wouldn't have to be a bestseller to put out a fire in someone's life, that it could be something relevant to be able to resolve the problems that they're dealing with.
I'm just gonna let that sit for a second. I just want to have that. Well, I love talking to you, as you know. I just wanted to here's my last question. What's the best advice that you would have to new authors? Because I think a big challenge is that maybe you don't know what to expect, right? It's kind of like as a bride or a groom. Like, hopefully you're only getting married once. Of course, things happen. You may get married a couple of different times. But because I used to be a wedding photographer, and it was interesting. Okay. In dealing with brides is because they don't have previous experience. And then you'd be like, come on, I have to kind of do some education there. but they don't know what to expect because they don't even know what to expect. So what's something that you would say to someone that says, hey, I'm thinking about having a book coming out? What do you say about that?
Don't miss the critical moment of being able to appreciate your accomplishments over being incredibly skeptical or critical about certain elements that don't mean as much as you might think. So, so there's certain things when we have a book that's in production and it's my book, it's my precious, right? It's this thing that we've been holding on to that we've created. We have every right to be proud of that. But once it is released, then it's open to criticism, it's open to review, it's open to regard. And we have to push our positive energy in it. And that's what we let go of. That's our part. That's our part to release it into the river. And we might guide it as I now do and many authors, we guide it down the river, but as people pull and as people take from it, we have to be able to do that. And some are going to pull in such a way that nourishes them. They'll drink from, throw it over their. I knew, even if that date slipped, don't tell Sarah. Even if that date slipped, it wouldn't have been a big deal because I trusted that I was in her hands. So if it was a week later, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal in the big picture. But I needed her to help me with that because as an author, I was too close to it. Yeah. So trusting the team, releasing these things where this is a critical thing. It must be this way. It must be that way. It must be this color. It must be this far away from the edge. That's kind of where I was with some of the graphics inside of the book. But the quicker we can let go and release things to the production team of Girl Friday, who's going to create that element, it just makes it easier when people in society start grabbing and pulling it from it, whether it's for their edification or a higher level of criticism. But release it, enjoy it, and be the first person to celebrate your success.
Yes. Yes. RT, it's so great to see you. I thank you for your time. And I hope that you just get all the success in the world. There's no one that deserves it more than you. So I'm always cheering for you, and we're all watching you and just every day so thankful that you found Girl Friday. So thanks again for your time today.
Thank you. So grateful for you, George. I truly appreciate you. And it's good to see you for the first time. Let's make sure it's not the last.
Oh my God. All right. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
Okay. Talk to you later.